Go ahead, Jim.
Right, obviously KJ can get it going like that, but it seems like the first half he was trying to get everybody involved. When does he know it's time to look for his own, or what? Obviously he took over that game. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, you don't coach that. It's not like we were drawing up plays for him. Yeah, I mean, we were drawing it up to keep the ball in his hands late, but create an action or a next action, and that's why next level people love him, is he has the ability to step back and make a three. He has the ability to get fouled. He knows what the game needs. I've had him a very, very short time. I would love to take credit for all of that, and I can take credit for none. He's got a gift, and I think it was the first couple of games of the year. He took 2 or 3 shots in a game, and it was just what the game brought to him. There's no force. I've learned that he's going to make a mistake or two. Let him play through it, and he's going to level out. And so I don't doubt that he's going to make the right play most of the time.
Coach, would it be fair to say your team took a pretty big step in terms of grit and physicality today in this game?
Yeah, the one thing I liked about today was we got a nice lead, and we never wavered. We stayed true to it, and it was it kind of got up there to 15, 16, 17, and get to 9 or 10, and then we would make a play. This group was unwavering. They made the plays when they needed to make them, and that's not easy to do. And you give Arkansas a lot of credit. They've got very, very talented players. Thero was tremendous today. Z was tremendous, and yet we always seem to have the answer. And then we got key rebounds when we needed to and key stops.
I counted over the course of the game 4 separate loose balls, and 4 times you guys got on the floor and retained possession on all 4 of those opportunities. How happy does that make you?
Oh, we talked about it in the locker room. There were 4 opportunities to get on the floor, and we were the first one on the floor every single time. And we can talk about what actions we ran and who made this shot. Those are the plays that will ultimately keep you moving forward in March and in the NCAA tournament. And we built our program on that, and that's our culture. And every possession is a little battle, and to get extra opportunities was huge. So we got a lot of guys making a lot of really good plays.
Brad, I wanted to ask about the bench tonight. How does it feel for you to just have the luxury that you can depend on these guys to get done?
It's tremendous. I mean, how about Jake Davis, Draven, what Merez is doing. I couldn't be more pleased with what Merez is doing on the defensive side, and his presence, and that athleticism and grit, and everybody's contributing. Will obviously is our leading scorer coming off the bench, and when you're more productive coming off the bench, in some cases they're adding something, and when you want the pieces of the puzzle to fit, the bench is where it starts, and this group's starting to understand roles. They're starting to believe in their roles and really step into what those things are looking like.
You were asked at Big Ten Media Days, like, who might be the closer in October. You didn't know. Just was is Casper's kind of emerged in that role, or was tonight his turn and maybe next week it's somebody else?
I don't have the answer to that. Tonight it was him. You kind of ride the hot hand. I think we've done that with Will a little bit. I think we've done it with Kylan. We felt really good about what those situations are. I think when you're trying to close a game, you like guys who can squirt multiple ways, and you like guys who can get to the foul line and make free throws. And most importantly, not afraid of the moment. But maybe Tommy in some sense. Ben, I don't know. Tonight it was Kasparis, and he did it very instinctive and just out of the natural flow of the game.
Right.
Brad, Boogie Vland shoots 2 for 12. Extremely talented player. Can you talk about Kylan Boswell's defense on him?
Yeah, Boogie's probably the best, considered the best freshman guard in the country. And, what he's been doing all season long. And to Boogie's defense, he played in some foul trouble. But I think again, that's the KJ Kylan factor as well. Having to defend those guys downhill in their drives. But Kylan's really kind of 4 for 4, starting with the Sears game and against Alabama, and then the 2 home games, taking 20-point perimeter scorers and making it very hard for him. And tonight was no different. We paid a lot of attention to Boogie and didn't want him to get going. Kylan has a knack for being able to take that away.
Brad, 90 points on that defense. I think you said this is what you envisioned when you put this roster together. What about it most encouraged you?
Yeah, it was well rounded. It was ball movement. It was the next actions. Nothing was. That's a top 10 defense. I think they were 10th in defensive efficiency coming in, and to do it with multiple guys and the spacing, and to do it in different ways. Tommy killed a possession late because he took about 8 dribbles into a post up. I said, I don't want you posting up. And when you can keep the floor spread and get downhill, and it's modern basketball today, and we recruited to it. We've got guys who can do it, and hopefully we continue to keep adding and keep growing.
Brad, you mentioned their top 10 defensive team. They're also top 15 in turnover rate. You guys only had 11 turnovers. What was the key in taking care of the ball this afternoon?
Yeah, maturity. We're growing up a little bit. We saw a little bit of that against Little Rock, who was another top 20 team in terms of turnovers forced. We had one, I think Kylan threw one to Ben where he didn't come meet it late. And, KJ had a couple right there at the start of the second half. But for the most part, it's, we want people to pressure us. We want them to come out and extend the floor and pick us up, and that's to our advantage. Playing in the open court, as much space as we can create is advantage Illinois. I probably shouldn't have said that and given away a scouting report, but it's just maturity, guys understanding 2-foot jump stops, guys understanding ball toughness. That comes with experience, and we've been fortunate. We've seen some good defenses, so it's been trial by error there.
Scott and then Brian.
You mentioned the bench at the end of the first half. Kylan, Ben, Trey, all on bench with 2 fouls, and it grew the lead. Still, what did you like in that moment?
Yeah, my hat's off to those guys doing their job, not being afraid. I think Jake hit a big 3 in that sequence. I think that. That's kind of when you've got to figure out where we're going to get it. I think we've got opportunities to get to the foul line, late in a half. Those are things that are advantageous in those moments when you do have guys in foul trouble, figuring out how to get fouled, go to the line. But Merez, I thought was terrific. I thought, Draven gave us a lot of really good minutes on both ends of the court. So that's what you ask for, is just really good support and productivity when those guys come in.
Go Brian and then finish with up front.
Brad, how did this matchup with Arkansas come together?
A lot of people, a lot of conversations on CBS, and this is Brooks Downey runs this, and we've dealt with Brooks for a long time, and to get the opportunity on Thanksgiving Day in such a great city that loves basketball, great venue, and then to play a Hall of Fame coach. And I think it speaks, I'm going to brag about us, I think it speaks volumes to where our program has gotten, what a crowd we had today. And I think that, when we keep moving the needle, it's all that comes to fruition, and we jumped at the opportunity, and a lot of people do a lot of work, but here we are against a Hall of Fame coach on Thanksgiving, following the Lions Bears, and we know there are a lot of eyeballs on that today, so very excited to be a part of that.
Coach, maybe more than any other game so far, you had interchangeable point guards with Kylan handling the ball in the first half and KJ the second half. you know, how much of a luxury is that for you, and what's that kind of pressure does that put on the defense where you can just switch guys back and forth like that?
Yeah, it's always been something I've enjoyed doing, you know, and I go back to Andres and Trent and Io, you know, I've had multiple handlers. I like being able to take advantage of the mismatch that way, the hot hand that way, run different actions that way. You know, both of those guys fit that. You add Will in there. We run Will at point guard spot a lot in practice as well. So, you know, that's who we are. We're always going to continue to have those guys on the court, and you add Draven to that, and we got a lot of guys who can handle and make plays.
Okay, this last one here.
Brad, you know, Tommy had a block. He blocked Boogie at the rim, you know, and then I think Boogie probably thought he was going to get contact. He didn't. Then he hit some threes. It just seemed like Tommy had it going from both ends from the very get-go. Just what do you think his all-around game really filled up the box score?
Yeah, the best game he's played, and not just because he made shots. And I've said this many times. Tommy's one of our best shooters. Tommy is we've seen practices. We had a day where he was 9 of 11 from three, and he is that guy. Our challenge has been at the other end. You know, where Z is an elite shot blocker, and doing it at that, getting Tommy dialed in our ball screen coverage, and he's so cerebral. He's very, very smart. But you know, challenging shots, using his length, using his you know, ability to go challenge shots has been something we've been working with him on. And Z does it very instinctive. Tommy plays more position, but to see him do that today, now he's set an expectation that I can get on his rear end when he doesn't. So he was dominant today. I thought he was terrific on both sides.
I see one more.
Sure.
Billy Richmond, number 24. I mean, I've seen you
Yep.
know about him as a recruit. I thought he gave Arkansas a good lift off the bench. Kind of got downhill. I was curious what you thought of Billy scouting Arkansas, maybe from what you saw today, and maybe what he can do. the rest
Elite
of the
open
year.
court player. I think he's a guy that you know, we weren't necessarily concerned about him shooting it. I don't know how well he shoots it. We were playing him more as a driver. I think he's an elite defender. For a young guy to come up with the steals he does, get the passing lanes, and then he's what we call a head rammer. He just gets downhill, and he's got a great body, great physical tools. Plays above the rim, and there's no doubt he's going to impact that basketball team a lot in moving forward.